Do you know how I got a $7 million listing without spending one dime to do it? This is a way that listing agents across the country are not really taken advantage of based on my conversations with them. And it's so easy to do. And did I say that it's also $0? Listen, this is all about working with property developers. What you want to do is you want to work with property developers because when you can really befriend them, ingratiate yourself with them, when they can trust you and you can be loyal to them, they are a never-ending stream of listings. Working with property developers is probably one of the best things that you can do in your listing business. It's a great strategy. And whether you have high-end property developers or low-end property developers, it's a great complement to any other marketing strategy that you're using in your listing business. I'll tell you the story. I met this guy actually at an Irish cultural party. It was like a fundraising party kind of stuff. And this guy and I just started talking, became fast friends. At the time, we were roughly around the same age, and just a super cool cat. And his name was Wes. That's right, and that just came back to me. And when Wes and I started hanging out, you know, he obviously mentioned to me that he has another partner and that they work together to try to find properties. And he said to me, if you know any other properties out there that I can fix up, let me know. And then I had this idea. I thought to myself, okay, Wes, how about this? How about I find you properties, either raw land or properties that you can renovate, expand, what have you. And I will obviously represent you on the buy side when you buy the property on the condition that when you renovate it and when the property is done, I am able to list it. And I'm your listing agent on the listing side. And he agreed. And so throughout the years, I found many properties for Wes, and we had a great time working together. I remember one in particular, oh my God, I'll never forget it. It was a small single family home, very close in San Francisco to where I lived. But I drove by it all the time and I thought, my God, this house is just, it's just decrepit. It looks like it was falling apart. There was mold everywhere. It just, obviously you could tell that, you know, something was going on with this property. And so lo and behold, one day I was driving by and I saw a man in the garage. I've never seen the garage door open. I've never seen anybody in this property. So I stopped the car, walked up to the guy, and as it turns out, this guy, super cool cat, was the son of the owners who had passed away in the house. And it was a crazy story I'll have to tell you really quick as an aside. When they passed away, the mother and father passed away, it was piled high. They were hoarders. And it was piled high with books and everything. And I told the guy, I says, listen, if you want, I can have the place cleared out. He says, no, we can't do that because his parents, believe it or not, hid stock certificates and cash and gold coins and all the magazines and the newspapers and the books and everything. They had to go through this whole house. It took them 6 months to go through every single thing and collect all the stuff. Anyways, I thought that was an interesting story. But anyways, I became friends with this guy and it took him 6 months to get the house ready. And I told him, I says, listen, I've got a developer who I talked to Wes and he wants to buy your house sight unseen. He doesn't need, he basically just wanted the land because this house was on a huge lot, small little house, couldn't have been more than 1,000 square foot. But he was on a huge piece of land, and it had, best yet, it had a view of the downtown San Francisco skyline. So essentially, my client, Wes, was just buying it for the land. This son thought, oh my God, that is super cool. And we entered into a contract where Wes bought the property. As I recall at the time, I want to say it was like $1 million that he paid for it, or $990,000 or something like that. And then gave the family as much time as they needed to get the house cleaned out and all that good stuff. So long story short, Wes then comes, takes ownership of the property, bulldozes the house down. Well, I take that back. Bulldozed 95% of the house because in San Francisco, it's harder to have brand new construction, but if you keep a small percentage of the house, then it's just a renovation. But anyways, the cool thing is then he built this $7 million house. This house was huge. I mean, I can't even begin. I want to say it was like 4,000 square feet. It was beautiful, gorgeous design. And I got the listing. So what is not to like about that? Because not only did I get the buy side, but I got the listing. I made a great friend in the son, who was an elderly man at the time, and he and I still talk to this day. And I got a cool listing in one of the best parts of San Francisco with a downtown view. So the moral of the story is find developers. How do you find developers? Find developers by just driving around and looking at construction notices. You could do a Google search for your neighborhood and see, okay, or for your city, who are the top developers that are doing projects. Keep your eye peeled when you're driving around your marketplace. And if you see construction development, I've stopped and just say, talk to the contractor or the foreman or whatever and say, okay, who's the developer on this project? And then I call them and introduce myself. This is when you should be using your statement of qualifications, giving it to the foreman, giving it to everybody that's on the job site that can get you to the developer. So there's a lot of different ways that you can find developers. Yes, it takes a little bit of time. And then you have to find that developer land or buildings that need renovation. Yes, that can take a little bit of time. And then you have to wait for them to actually do the renovation and do the rebuild. And that can take some time. But my point is that this is a great opportunity to supplement your other listing flows into your listing pipeline, because you can be working on a project that may take a few months here and there, may take a year, who knows. But the bottom line is you're getting 2 commissions. What's not to love about that? And there's a really good chance that if a developer is developing the property, that listing is going to be a lot more than your average sales price, would be my guess. And that's always consistently been the case in my situation, because they put something, they want to make the project work financially. And you're not going to just take 1,000 square foot dump of a home and build another 1,000 square foot home. Usually it doesn't work that way. They really want to build something that's really amazing. So this is a great strategy. This could be one of your 2, 3, 4 listing strategies to fill up your listing pipeline. Get 2 commissions, which is super cool. And other than your time, not really taking any expenses from you to make this amazing listing strategy, working with property developers, an amazing success for you. So let me know what your experiences have been working with property developers. I've had nothing but amazing experiences. Go out there, find them right now, become best friends with them, and double those commissions.